Uh, Tell us a little bit about what we have here on this scene. Certainly a tragic scene, but talk a little bit about what we have here tonight.
Good evening. About just before 3:30 p.m. today, Pasco County Fire Rescue 911 was alerted to a structure fire here in the Ballantrae neighborhood of Land O'Lakes. Upon arrival, firefighters noted heavy fire and smoke coming from a second-story bedroom, and they were also alerted to the possibility of an elderly male being trapped inside. Firefighters quickly went into search and rescue mode. Firefighters from Ladder 37 as well as Squad 1 made entry into the home, went up to the second floor and started search, as well as starting to knock down those fire conditions inside. As they were searching that upstairs bedroom, they ran across an elderly male where they quickly extricated that male from inside the fire room, brought him to the front yard and started life-saving interventions and CPR on him. From there, he was rapidly transported to Tampa General Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Also, there were two other occupants inside the home that were both transported to the hospital with minor smoke inhalation.
At this point, of course, the investigation is still ongoing. Who's on scene right now doing that investigation?
So right now, the State Fire Marshal's office, as well as arson investigators from Pasco County Fire Rescue and arson investigators from the Pasco County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff's Office Forensics are on scene right now. And kind of the next steps, they go into the fire-involved room. They start to look for physical evidence. They'll interview witnesses around the neighborhood, and the ultimate goal is trying to figure out what started this fire.
Certainly a tragedy. There's a family now that's got to deal with some pretty devastating news. Talk a little bit about how you go, what the neighbors should do at this point. Is there anything that you would advise the neighbors to do in terms of fire safety and that type of things as they just continue life here in the neighborhood?
Sure. Our number one goal is life, safety, and property conservation. That's what the men and women of Pasco County Fire Rescue do every single day. When they leave home, they go to work. So to have a fire like this is not only tragic for the neighborhood, but it hits heavy to them. They did everything they could today to try to rescue this gentleman. They really did put it all on the line. The Station 37, where Ladder 37 and Squad 1 are both housed, it's not too far from the entrance of this neighborhood, and they're really they did everything they could to get here and try to save this person. And it breaks our heart to have something like this happen, especially for the family as well. And we always try to talk about, when you talk about what you can do to protect your own family and what you can do to make sure your home is safe, the number one thing, and we're not saying that this is a case in this situation, but the number one thing that you want to have is working smoke alarms in your home. You want to have exit plans and practice those exit plans. If you have children at home, they practice their fire drills at school all the time. Make sure you're practicing them at home. You have a location that they're going to meet outside the home, whether it be a neighbor's mailbox or a tree. You never want to use a car or anything like that that can move. And you really want to break it down to a first grade level, even for adults, because and you want to practice repetition, because in times of tragedy and times of emergency, we go into fight or flight, and we want that programmed into our DNA, what we're going to do. So have that conversation with your children tonight. Have that conversation with your loved ones, with your family members. What would happen if this house was to catch on fire? Where would we go? How would we get out? No two ways out of every room. Something we also push, it's beautiful outside tonight. People want to have their windows open, that's great. Close those doors. Closed doors help keep fire from spreading rapidly throughout the home. So sleep with your doors closed. And the number one thing, you are 2 times more likely to survive a home fire if you have working smoke alarms. And we just had that time change. So we're going to want to make sure that we are checking those smoke alarm batteries and making sure that those smoke alarms are working.